Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Bandai Tamashii Nations Marvel Figuarts unboxing and review video. Now today we are taking a look at the third figure in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier line, being none other than John F. Walker as Captain America. This is his blue suit. Now I personally was holding out hope that they'd do a US agent suit, and at the time of filming this video, that hasn't been up for pre-order yet, but fingers crossed it still happens. Either way, I'm very excited to get this guy out here. Now I got mine from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is of course down in the description below. They do have 12-month installment plans and an awesome reward system. What we are going to do now though is get the box laying flat in the light box and do the unboxing. Here of course we have the box art for John Walker. Now this is the third figure in the line at this point, so we kind of know what to expect. We've got a clear window showcasing the figure himself, and I still love that it's in the shape of Cap's shield with the star up in the corner. We do have a shot of John Walker as Cap, then a bunch more product shots on the back here. I'm really excited to mess around with this effect piece. It might just be one of my favorites that S.H.Figuarts have ever put out. It's a really dynamic effect. Here we have John Walker himself. I am curious how he's going to stack up alongside the Marvel Legends US agent. Unfortunately, we don't have Walmart down here in Australia, so I wasn't able to get the blue-suited version of John Walker by Marvel Legends. But still, I have this guy, and so far, so good. I'm loving the sculpt, and I'm loving the paint in hand. What we are going to do now, though, is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Here we have all the parts and pieces that go with John Walker. Now right off the bat, he doesn't come with a display base. Normally, not a huge issue, not many Figuarts do. But considering that both the Falcon and the Winter Soldier did come with bases, it's immediately begging the question as to why this guy doesn't. There are only 3 figures in this line, so why on earth does this guy not also come with a base? Maybe because they spent their base budget on this shield effect piece, but to be totally honest with you, I do love the way this looks, but I would very easily trade this out for a display base just to keep the line consistent. It's an awesome effect, there's no denying it. You do have this swooshing piece, you peg the shield in at the top, and it does clip into the same peg ports as the shield straps do. So it's very nice and sturdy, and it looks great. So I am glad this is here, but if it was at the cost of including a display base, I'm not exactly sure who okayed that decision over at Bandai. Now, speaking of the shield, it's the same one that came with Bucky. The cool thing about the way this is done is these straps are removable. Once you pull off those straps, you bring in the hands that already have the straps connected to them. This is the best way of attaching the shield to a figure. I wish Hot Toys would do something like this. Pre-mold the straps to the hands and include a separate pair. You can have swap out straps if that's something you'd like to do, but that way it's super sturdy and secure. Now I do want to talk about the head sculpts for just a moment. You will see these on the figure in just a second, but they are just okay. They aren't perfect by any means, and I do think Bandai and Tamashii Nations have been getting worse and worse when it comes to their likenesses. I don't exactly know why. For some reason their female head sculpts are usually outstanding. I never have any issues with them, but when it comes to the male characters such as Shang-Chi and Bucky and now Captain America, it's just not quite there. I do think these are slightly better than the ones that we got with Bucky, but they're still not perfect. You do get some added weapons, of course, with this version of Cap, the first of which is his 1911. Interestingly enough, there is no hole for the trigger guard section. It's completely filled in. It's a solid cast piece of plastic in this gunmetal grey with no paint to speak of. Now the way this works is you actually have a separate holster section that is, again, a solid piece of plastic, but you can replace it with this second version of the 1911. This time it's in a holster. So basically when you want to have him holding the pistol, you use this one. When you want to have it on his hip, you use this one. So you do get two different options for his 1911. You also get the usual array of hands. This time he does have some red on the gloves compared to previous Captain America figures that have just had full brown and black gloves, so I do appreciate that pop of color. Overall, yes, he does come with a serviceable array of accessories, but I really do think that if they were going to include display bases with the other two figures in the line, this guy totally should have come with one. Here we have him standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that, and so far I'm pretty happy. He's not perfect, and we will discuss why in just a second, but overall, the key elements which need to be done right are pretty good. The head sculpts, which we've already discussed, are serviceable, but when it gets to the sculpt work on the body, I think that's where this figure really shines. It's crisp, it's clean, it's really well painted, it looks proportionate, but it is potentially slightly too thin, at least for me. If it works for you, that's totally fine. We'll unpack that more in the next clip. Overall though, as I just said, I am pretty happy with him, and he does blend in nicely with the rest of the line, although that display base thing is the true crime here. What we are going to do now though is take him off the rotating turntable, punch in, and take a closer look at the details. Here we have him up close and personal. Now, as I alluded to in the previous clip, for the most part I am very happy. He's not 100% flawless, and there is stuff that I wouldn't mind if they'd gone back to the drawing board on. We may as well discuss those cons first, starting off with the arms. They're just way too scrawny. Now, I understand Wyatt Russell wasn't anywhere near as big as Chris Evans when he was Captain America, so it makes sense that he's a little bit slimmer. But not this slim. I mean, his arms are literally tiny. There are no biceps really to speak of, and then when we come down to the wrist, it gets even slimmer. For some reason, they've left a significant gap between the arm itself and the hand, so it makes it look very goofy. I understand it's for an added range of motion out of the wrist itself, but to be honest, I would forego that slightly bigger range just to have it, actually connect to the body, like a hand is supposed to do. The rest of it, though, is pretty much good news. I wouldn't have minded some washes down in the crevices just to bring out the detail, because as it stands, the entirety of the outfit that is blue is unpainted. It's literally just blue plastic. There are no washes, there's no gradients, there's no shading, it's just very flat. At the very least, all of the red and silver sections are super crisp. They are very, very nicely done and very sharp, so I can't really complain about them, but some shading and also some texturing on the outfit would have been a very nice addition. I mean, bringing in the Marvel Legends US agent, there is a ton of texture on the suit itself. Yes, the paint applications aren't as crisp and clean as Figuarts, but I do prefer the overall look and feel of the texture on the suit, and I also like the proportions just a little bit better. You will have to let me know which head sculpt you prefer out of these two, but for me, I'm actually almost tempted to say the Marvel Legends one wins it here as well. This one is no slouch, and from a distance, he definitely looks like Wyatt Russell as John Walker. But it's not the best head sculpt that I've seen Figuarts do, to be totally honest with you. Now, removing the sculpt and swapping it out with the unmasked version, this one I think fares a little bit better. I can see the likeness, As I said earlier in the video, I like the gold for the hair, which some people don't necessarily love, but for me it definitely does work. Overall though, I am liking how crisp and clean the sculpt is. Yes, some more paint would have been a nice touch, but still, it's very, very sharp. All the way throughout, it looks like how the outfit is supposed to look. Then coming down to the boots, these are the only sections that are treated with a gloss finish. Everything else is a really nice high quality feeling matte, whereas with the Marvel Legends one, there is a sheen throughout the entire thing. It just feels and looks a little bit cheaper. Because it is, whereas this guy definitely feels like a high-end figure. But coming down to the boots, it's a really nice contrast between the matte of the outfit. A little bit of gloss definitely sets them off a treat. Now for a quick side-by-side comparison, here we have Captain America alongside his wave mates, being of course Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And these three do look really good together. The interesting thing here though is John Walker is shorter than both Sam Wilson and Bucky. Is that accurate? I'll have to go back and check the show to see if that is indeed the case, but here in figure format at least, he is the smallest of the three. Does that bother me? Yeah, just a little bit, but it's not a big enough deal to say don't buy the figure. I think there are other things, like the scrawny arms that we discussed earlier, that could potentially more so influence your decision. Either way, if all you're after is a representation of these three characters that are sculpted very sharply, the likeness is passable, but the articulation is more than passable, then these figures should be your go-to, because overall, as a line, I do think these three are stronger together. Next up, here we have the Marvel Legends US agent, who I know you've already seen make a cameo appearance in this review, but as you can see, he is significantly taller, which, for me at least, does work. I know they're not supposed to technically scale with S.H.Figuarts, but him being a little bit bigger, a little bit bulkier, it just fits in slightly better into my personal display. But if you do like a little bit of a smaller version of John Walker, maybe you're displaying him next to Cap and you like that juxtaposition, that contrast of a smaller version of Captain America, then this could totally work for you. But for me, I do like US Agent being a little bit more bulky, so I personally will still be going with the Marvel Legends version for my display. Just going over articulation on John Walker. Now bear in mind this is my personal copy of the figure, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful. I'm sure when you get yours in hand, you can push the joints slightly further than I'm willing to go. Now starting off with the head sculpt, there is a ball joint at the base of the head and another at the base of the neck. You will find most of the range actually comes out of the neck, with the head only having a teeny amount. You do have swivel and pivot side to side as well. The arms go out to there, they will go forward and back. You do have a butterfly joint at the shoulder, which is significant enough, and you do have some swivel up here at the shoulder as well. A double bend at the elbow that goes way past 90, and of course a regular Figuarts style wrist peg. The torso does have two ball joints, so going forward to there, going back quite a significant way, swivel and also a ton of pivot side to side. Luckily, the belt also is free floating, so you can move it around and get it out of the way. Speaking of getting out of the way, you can drop the leg down. As you can see, this one is now sitting lower, so you go forward to there, you go out to there, swivel at the thigh, a double bend at the knee, which does go past 90. Then down here at the foot, we do have swivel, pivot, forward and back, plus some toe articulation. Just wrapping up on the Figuarts John F. Walker figure. Now going into this, I was pretty excited. I mean, I liked the Falcon and the Winter Soldier in their respective reviews, so I was pretty sure that I was going to love this guy. and for the most part I am happy. He's not perfect, and I know you're probably sitting there thinking, whoa Justin, weren't you just complaining about the scrawny arms and the smaller size and the lack of paint? Yes, I was, and I stand by all that, but he's still a decent figure for the display. Does he warrant the higher price tag that an import product commands? Well, that's going to have to be up to you. But for me, he does fit in well with the rest of the line. The articulation is more than serviceable. He comes with a ton more accessories than you're going to get with, say, the Marvel Legends version. He actually has a gun that you can remove from his holster. So this guy is still going to be my John Walker for the display, but the US Agent Marvel Legends figure is going to be there as well, because I do prefer the proportions on the Hasbro product, which is crazy to think about. Now, I got my version of John Walker from toyswonderland.com. He is in stock right now. The link is down below. They do have 12-month installment plans and an awesome rewards program. While you are down there, why not check out 6 Scale Network, the Facebook group? Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.